Well, there's a feller that wants me to get this old truck running again so he can use it on the farm. Let's see if we can't help him out. It's a 1967 C50. He said it's been parked about 10 years, and going by the front license plate, it's been about 9. 2013 is the last year it was registered. And the old truck, from what I can tell, ain't in too bad a shape. Got some rust here at the bottom of the door. Well, paint flaking off anyway. I don't know if there's any holes. Just by looking on the inside, well, I'll just show you. It's got a 2-speed axle. You can see the knob on the shifter there. It is a dump bed. I done looked at that. We'll have to get all of that working for him so we can use it on the farm here. And believe it or not, every one of these tires are aired up. So that is magnificent right there. He said it's got a 327 in it, so when we get to the motor, we'll get the numbers off the block and we'll confirm that. I ain't looked at the other side yet because it's growed up with weeds so bad. So let's go over and stomp them weeds down and we'll look at that other side. Well, this other side looks even better. The door, it's got a little bit of rust, but it ain't nowhere near what the other side was. Yeah, this old truck is in pretty good shape. Cab corners look good. But I've got a problem right off the bat. I can't get in either door. That one won't open and the driver's side won't open. So I guess our first task at hand is to get in the darn thing. The push button on the driver's side door is typical, you know, of these trucks. It's pushed all the way in. And I was going to reach in here because the window's down. It does have glass. I'm assuming the mechanism's tore up. I was going to reach in here and grab this handle. Well, she just flops. So what I'll do, I'll get that inside door handle off, and maybe we can get some channel locks on that and open this door. You got to get this little clip off here before you can get this handle off. There it is. Mark keys again. Let's see if this thing will open. No, sir. Oh, wait a minute. Aha! You have to go down instead of up. I'm used to my 53. You do that with them. Well, the passenger side door, I can't get it to open, so we'll fool with that in a little while. But I just want to take a look on the inside. I'm telling you, the old truck is in wonderful shape. Ain't nothing wrong with that dash. Well, this part here is cracked, but as far as the gauges and all that, shoot. Ain't nothing wrong with this truck. What's it got? 90,614 miles. Still got the original radio. Shoot. This truck is in very good shape. It's got a little bit of rust right here in the floorboard. Let's get this out of the way. There ain't no rust on the rocker that I can see. Yeah, this old truck is in great shape. I'd like to get this window working if I could. That's the worst thing you can do. Man, it rains inside here and that water stands. Yeah, that ain't good. We'll see if we can get that working sometime, but let's go pop the hood right now. Well, it is definitely a small block Chevrolet. We'll get the number off the deck here in a little while and just see what that tells us. It does have the ram horn exhaust, so that's awesome. Let me get this air breather off. We'll look at the carburetor real quick. And some mice is dropping hickory nuts is what it looked like. Well, this is about a mile long, so when I get this done, I'll be right back. Alright, got a little 2-barrel Rochester. That's about like what was on Dude, the original setup. It's got points ignition. They didn't come out with HEI till 74, 75. I was hoping maybe they'd changed it over, but they didn't. Let me check Earl real quick and see what we got there. Oh, it's got enough plus some. I don't really smell no gasolines in it, so that's good. Have we got any water? I see something about halfway down, so that's good. It means it ain't got a bad leak. Now let's see if it's stuck. It probably ain't. It ain't been sitting up for 9 years, but hey, you never know. Oh no, she just turned it in just a little bit. Yep. Ooh, yes sir, yes sir. She ain't stuck, so that is awesome. So I think first thing I'll do, we'll stick a battery in it and make sure the starter's going to work, and then we'll go from there. Ooh. Well, the battery is just a wee bit big for this hole, so we're gonna have to leave it just like that for now. Of course, the battery cables don't reach either, so well, this ain't starting out real good. Let me see if I can do this here. Maybe that'll work a little better. Nope. That fits, but the ground don't. Let's see. I can set it right in here for now, on top of the radiator hose. That's gonna have to do. All right, let's see if we get any sparky spark. I don't see none, so ain't no major short, at least. You know, I don't even know if there's keys in this thing. Let me go see. Oh yeah, we got keys. All right, let's see if the starter works. No starty start. Well, we ain't got no starter. We ain't got no lights. We ain't got nothing. So, all right, Mr. Weed, you're gonna have to go, little buddy. These cable ends are absolutely disgusting. Still ain't getting no sparky spark on the battery cable. Headlight still ain't on. So, I reckon I need to do a little more investigating and see what the issue is. This is mechanical. It's got a mechanical oil pressure sending unit. Well, I don't know right now. I don't know at all. Well, let me get my little starter gun, put it on the starter, just make sure the starter works at least. All right, let me see if that starter works. We ain't getting nothing at all on nothing nowhere. So, I'll tell you what, it's supposed to be a new battery. Well, let me get the meter and make sure it is. Battery is showing 12.83 voltages. So let me see if I'm getting anything down here. 12.84. So there ain't nothing wrong with the cables. Huh. I don't know. Let me do a little more investigating. Well, I've already took 2 trips down Dumas Lane on this truck just right off the bat. The starter situation, well, I had my little starter gun here on the ignition post. Swapped it over to the other one. Starter works. And I think I now know why I don't have any power to the rest of the vehicle. Here is the distribution block. This is supposed to be hooked to the positive on the battery. Well, as you can see, it's just floating in the air right here. The battery don't fit in here, and I don't have any wire to get it over there. So, well, I got to remedy that situation, and then we'll keep on trucking. Also, and oh, by the way, see this little aluminum platform? I bought that a couple weeks ago. I was putting head gaskets on a 08, I believe, Chevrolet. And I'm telling you that right there, man, it helped my knee so much. It's wonderful. All right, I got the battery situated here where I can get all the cables and wires on it. I'm getting 12 volts here now, so let's go inside and see if we got a starter and see if anything else is working. Y'all watch this right here. Oh yeah, watch this right here. Haha, that's awesome. I still don't have any headlights. I looked at the fuse panel down in there and it's really, really rusty. So yeah, I may clean that up after a while, but for now, let's see if we can get this thing started. All right, I'm pretty sure these points are gonna be nasty. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pull this cap off and have a look at them. And we're probably gonna have to file them and clean them up. Ooh. You get out of the dead blame way. My goodness, you right in my darn way. Rotor don't look bad. I think it'll be just fine. Pointages, what do you look like? Actually, not bad. I'm still gonna hit them with a file a little bit just to make sure. The advance seems to be working. as far as I can tell. Let me get $100 bill, clean them points off. I am using a dollar bill because that's about all I got to clean them with. All right, I think they're clean enough. So let me get everything put back on it, and we'll see if we're getting any sparkages. Well, let me pull the plug, and we'll see if we're getting any fire. Well, I'll tell you what, that plug don't look real good. Let me just see if we're getting fire, and then we'll worry about that here in a little bit. All right, here we go. Oh yeah, we getting lots of sparky sparks. Well, now that we got the spark, I'll tell you what, let me put this back in, and I'm gonna pull the fuel line loose, just to make sure we ain't gonna suck up no trash. Then I'll put a little gasolines down in the carburetor, and let's just see if it'll fire off. They're raising backer around here, and they've started firing it, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, I guess. And I'll tell you, that is about the best smell there was, a tobacco barn fire. Ooh. I used to smoke. I quit about 1.5 years ago. Boy, I tell you what, it sure makes me want to fire one up right now. I know that. All right, got the fuel line off. Let me see if this, I ain't even checked to see if it's froze. No, it ain't froze. Well, let me get some gasolines in a bottle, and we'll see if this thing will fire off. Tell you what, let me get this stud out of the way. You are right in my way, little buddy. Ooh, come off of there. Chanty Locks, where are you at, Chanty Locks? Oh crap, I almost broke my dad blame ankle. All right, let's put a little gasolines down in it. A little bit to grow on. Here we go. Oh, did you hear that? It dried a little bit. Come on, girl. Give it just a little more. Well, she ain't fired off just yet. That looks odd right there. Well, here's something interesting that I just found. I looked down in this carburetor, and well, y'all can't see it, but there's gasoline standing down in here on top of the butterflies. Well, you hit the throttle, butterflies ain't opening. Well, there's this apparatus here on this side of the carburetor that I've never seen anything like this. I don't know what it is. Looks like there's a diaphragm here. It's got a line that runs down to the bottom of the distributor. This looks like maybe some kind of switch or something. I don't know. Is this some kind of governor? Is that what opens the butterflies? I don't know. This is very interesting. Let me do a little research, see what I can figure out. Well, I just got done educating myself on Rochester 2-barrel vacuum operated governors. That's exactly what this is. The reason it's got a line going to the distributor back here, there is a centrifugal operated valve. It stays open until about 3,800 to 4,000 RPM. And then once it reaches that point, that valve closes, which allows vacuum on this diaphragm. And that diaphragm will close the butterflies so you don't over-rev the motor. And this linkage over here, it is not connected directly to the butterflies. So that's why the butterflies didn't open when I opened that. So I guess, well, I don't really know. I mean, it seemed like the butterflies ought to open some kind of way. So I'm wondering if there's something stuck in this governor that won't let them open. But I'm gonna try a little bit longer to get it to at least fire a little bit. If not, then I'm gonna have to study this a little more in depth and see if it may keep it from starting. But I found that very interesting. I've never seen that before. Learn something new every day. Where did my gas go? Let me turn the ignition on. Almost forgot. I always forget that. The choke cable is definitely stuck. So we're gonna give her another drink, and then we're gonna do a hand choke. And I got a little wasper friend down there. I gotta watch him. I don't want him stinging me. All right, let's give it another try. Mr. Wasp, you better get your butt on now. I'm gonna kill you. Get on. Get on. Let me pull this plug back out. I just want to see if we got any compression. I just did battle with a International 6-cylinder. Y'all saw that last week. It had no compression. I guess I might have to battle this one too. All right, let me see if we got any compressions. Got a little bit. I tell you what, if it keeps on not wanting to start, I got plenty of Rochester 2-barrels that'll fit this intake at the house. We'll put one on there. I'll get rid of this junk here. Mr. Wasper, you better get on. Well, until we can get the butterflies open on this carburetor, she ain't a starting, I'm telling you. Well, only thing I know to do is take this vacuum unit off and let's just look at it and see what's going on, because right now I ain't got a clue. Well, I went ahead and pulled the whole carburetor off, and it's probably a good thing I did, because, well, you see the butterflies have got rust, and they're actually rusted shut. I think I understand how this works now. Here is your, regular throttle. It's not connected to the butterflies, to the shaft here. It basically, this is most likely pulling on this, trying to open them. Well, this is keeping that from happening. Well, you open that, well, then they'll open up, and then you open that up more, and they'll open up more until your governor kicks in and it tries to close it back. Anyway, these are stuck. It ain't getting no air, basically. And this gasket, well, looks pretty terrible. And, well, it's probably a good thing I took it off. I got to get these butterflies freed up, and then I may have to find a gasket somewhere, and we'll put it back on and see what it does. Well, I got the cover off the governor here, and, well, you can see it is a stuck, corroded mess, and, well, I can't get it to break free. I'll tell you what I'm gonna have to do, I guess. Take this to the house and we'll work on it there. I'm not in most ideal conditions right, and it's really hot. It's really hot in the sun. Let's go to the house and work on it. Well, I talked to the guy that owns the truck, and he said he wants that governor gone, so that's what we're gonna do. I want to keep his body, mainly because of the choke. I got 3 or 4 of these 2-barrel Rochesters, and they're all not manual choke. His is. I want to keep that, so I'm gonna keep his body, and then I got to decide which linkage is going to work. What I got to do is take the base off, and that'll get rid of this, and of course all the linkage will go with it too. So I got to find one of these carburetors or the linkage will work. I think it's going to be this one, but let me get this took apart and get it back together and just see if it's going to work. Well, there's been a change in plans again. I was going to use the base off of this carburetor. I can't use these two because the bolt pattern is bigger. Well, this one has an extra hole down in here, and if I put it on this one, well, it'll just be out to the atmosphere. That ain't gonna work. I think what I'm gonna do is let's take this apart, get it cleaned up, get it working right. Then I'll buy a carburetor kit for this, put it together, clean everything up, and it ought to work then. Here's a little FYI if you ever run into this type of carburetor with this governor. They have ball bearings on the shaft, and it would just barely turn, maybe quarter turn. Well, I got to fool with it, sprayed it with some WD-40, and ta-da! Spinning like a brand new one now. Now I need to clean these throats up because they're pretty doggone rusty. And the diaphragm on this, I believe it's good enough. I gotta clean it up inside here and clean everything else up, and then put this thing back together. Gotta clean the little butterfly things up, they're pretty nasty. And then I think we'll be ready to put it back on. It rained a couple of days here, and to get to this whole truck, I got to go through a few mud puddles. Just look what it did to dude's wheels and tires. Dang it, I won't have to clean them now. That's the only part on the truck I can clean though. I think what I'm going to do first is we'll scrape that gasket off of the manifold. Got a new gasket to come with the kit. Get the carburetor put back on, and then I believe I got a new set of plugs. And that one I took out over here, it was pretty nasty looking. So I think what I'm gonna do is pull all the plugs. We'll use the old thumb meter to check the compression. And I might even squirt a little bit of P&B blaster in each cylinder, put the plugs back in, and let's just see if this old girl will fire up. Which way do the gasket go on? Just like that right there. Well, I didn't need you no way. Where in the devil did that go? Well, I've lost my wrench. It went into the abyss. I do not see it anywhere, so when I find that, I'm gonna tighten that line up. Where? Oh, I found it. Somehow it landed inside the wheel. Whatever. All right, let's get these sparking plugs out. We'll check the compressions. Probably squirt a little bit of P&B blaster down in them. Well, this is the wrong socket. I don't know what size that is. This is the second socket here. Well, let me go for number 3. Just for future reference, these sparking plugs are 5/8. The new auto lights I got, they are 13/16s. Well, it appears that we have an assortment of spark plugs on this here motor, because that one is not a 5/8. For future reference, number 4 sparking plug is 13/16s. Well, I got all the sparking plugs out, and they don't look too bad. There's only one, I think it was number 6. They look like it might have been burning Earl, but they've got a lot of, I'm assuming it's carbon buildup, really hard stuff. They won't hardly come off. Anyway, I got a new set of plugs. We'll put them in. But right now, we're going to turn it over, and I'm going to use the old thumb meter and see what kind of compression we got. All right, here we go. It's so-so. About the same. And just a little. And when I say a little, I mean just a little. And it's decent. About like number 6, you ain't got much. That's about like the rest of them. About like the rest of them. Let me see if I can get to number 7. It's kind of weak. So we got 2 that have nothing. The rest of them are, a little weak. I'm gonna blast them with some P&B blaster, and we'll put the plugs in, and I might start working on something else and let that P&B blaster soak in a little bit. Maybe it'll pop them rings back out. All right, now that I got the cylinder soaking in the P&B blaster, I figured we'd do work on something else, let that soak in. So let's fool with the dreaded brakes. They want to bet me this is empty and rusty. Well, it is empty, but it is not rusty, so that's good. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna fill it up with a little brake fluid and hit the pedal. Let's just see what happens. Well, I just found this over here in the fender, braking fluid. So, from your favorite BIL, I'm assuming that's brother-in-law. Anyway, so let's assume that we have brake issues already. I'm gonna go hit the pedal, see what happens. Well, the pedal was not stuck, but it does go all the way to the floor. I hear something spurting. I believe we just busted a line or something somewhere, because I hear it. And we're dry again. So, we've got some major brake issues. Let me do a little investigating. I'll be back. Well, I do believe that I found the leak. It's right there. And let me zoom you in. See what's right there too? Metal hanger. Do not like metal hangers on brake lines at all. They're gonna leak there every time. Anyway, let me go to the brake line store, get some brake line fittings and more brake fluid, and we'll see if we can get this fixed. Well, I'm back from the brake store. I got me some brake fittings and I got me some brake fluid. I got some brake line up here somewhere. Then I went to the Earl store, got some Earl and a filter. That's a cartridge filter, by the way. I don't know if it's the right one. We'll find out in a little while. Anyway, let me get this brake line fixed and then we'll move on to, I don't know, whatever's next. I got a union right here and I think I'll take it loose here and then go all 6/8 inches past that leak up there. And then I'll replace that whole piece of line. So let me get this out and then we'll get a new piece in. Well, I got the old brake line out. There's the hole right there, just rusted plumb through. And something else I didn't realize till I was taking it off. That's a compression fitting. That is a huge no-no on brake lines. When you hit that brake pedal, them brake lines are saying 1,000+ PSI. Compression fittings are just not meant for that. That needs to be a flare fitting. This old truck has gotten another 2 or 3 unions like this, compression fitting. I think all he's going to do is ride it around on his farm. So I'm going to put it back like it was on this end. The other end, it's going to be flare fitting. I'm telling you, please, if you got a vehicle that's going to be on the road, please do not use compression fittings on brake lines. Let me get this fixed up and then we'll get it back on the truck. See this little piece right here? That's what's keeping me from finishing the brakes. It's a ferrule I found at my house. I didn't, when I went to the store, I didn't know I needed ferrules. So I didn't get any. And well, this one here is, I guess it fits a certain type of fitting. It don't fit the union that's under the truck. So we can't finish the brakes because of that little bitty piece right there. So I think what we're gonna do now is we'll get back on the motor, see if we got any compression, put the plugs in it, fill the carburetor up, and let's see if it'll fire off. All right, sparking plugs are in, plug wires are on. Let me fill her up with gasoline. We'll give her the old try. A little bit grown. Wombow, wombow. Here we go. Now, let me give it another drink. Well, she ain't even a-trying. We ain't getting no pump shot either. Let me give it another drink down the vent hole. Well, let's just see what it does. So I'm pretty sure I poured about a half gallon down in it right then. Oh, come on, girl. It sounded like it wanted to just a little bit. All right, try it again. Come on, girl. Come on. She wants to. I believe she's gonna. Oh, come on. Well, I don't understand. I put a brand new accelerator pump in it and it's just barely dribbling out. Huh. All right, let's try it again. Well, the throttle is doing absolutely nothing. So it's possible that, there's a spring over here in the governor that actually tries to hold those blades wide open. And they wanted to stick every once in a while, and that may be what's going on. So let me get a screwdriver, stick down in there, and see if I can't get them butterflies to open up. But hey, she ran. Awesome. Try a piece of this old brake line. See if I can get it down through there. Oh yeah, it opened up then. That's all it was. Yep. They are operating now. Let's give it another try. Well, I think the fuel pump works. I think there's fuel in the gas tank, so that's good. I really don't want to run this old gas in it. I tell you what, I'm gonna go underneath and I'll take the line loose from the gas tank, just drain it. But yeah, let's do that. Well, they've got a very conveniently located fuel filter right here on the side of the frame. I'm gonna take it off and drain that gas tank in this 5-gallon bucket, and we'll put I don't know, 2 or 3 gallons of fresh gas back in it, and we'll let this old girl run for a little bit. Well, she's draining, and I got the fuel filter here. I poured all the stuff out of it. It's a little water in it. It's a little bit of grit. Feels like sand or something maybe. I don't have another fuel filter, so I'm just gonna clean this up best I can. We'll put it back on. But this gas, it doesn't smell all that bad. It probably would have been okay. I smelled a lot worse. But we'll get all that out and we'll put some fresh in it. Well, I got the fuel filter about as clean as I'm going to. It'll have to do for now. But we got another problem. The gasolines that was draining out of the tank into the bucket, well, it just abruptly stopped. I mean, it didn't start trickling, it just stopped. Well, I put my mouth over this here hole and blew into it, and about all that did was make me high. No air, no fuel come out on the other end. Stuck my whole camera in it and couldn't really tell nothing much. Well, then I just shined a flashlight down in there. There's still fuel down in there. I can't see the pickup tube where it's at, but I'm gonna try to take the hose off and stick me a piece of wire or something up in there, and maybe we can get that trash out of the way and go ahead and drain it the rest of the way. Well, I've been fooling with this dad blame gas tank for a pretty good while. Oh, I got down below and I took the hose off the gas tank. Well, this wire right here, it's about 2 foot long. I ran it all the way up in it and never met any resistance. I never got any fuel flow, so you know, left me scratching my head. I thought, well, let me look at that tank. It took me a while to get these wing nuts off of these bolts so I could lean that seat forward. And lo and behold, what do I see? That line comes all the way up here and it goes back down. What probably happened is I was actually siphoning fuel and it lost its prime, and you know, that's why I couldn't get any more fuel flow. Well, I went home before I, figured all this out. And I got my air tank and I put some air in this gas tank, pressurized it. I got fuel flow now, so I'm gonna put everything back together and we're gonna fire this thing up. I brought me some antifreeze too when I went back to the house, so we're gonna sit here and let this thing run for a little bit. All right, let's see if this little fella will fire up. Let me give it a little choke. Well, I don't know what happened. Act like it ran out of gas. Oh, let me put a little more in the carburetor. All right, here's you a drink, little buddy. Well, I can't hit the hole. All right, let us try this again. Here we go. Well, I don't know what's happened. Well, I don't know why it keeps quitting on me. why the thing don't want to idle. Now let me start it up again. Now it does not want to start. What is going on with you, little buddy? We'll give you a little drink. Sound rough. The donut's missing on the passenger side. That's why it's so loud. It was smoking pretty bad, but it's done cleared up. Of course, the muffler's done rusted out. You can see that. It don't want to run without the choke on. I'm gonna let it sit here and run for a little while and warm up. You know, they've been sitting 10 years. It may need to go through a heat cycle or two before it starts acting right. Not bad at all. Well, she fired up and she ran quite a while, but that dead blame exhaust leak, good gracious. If you know me, you know I cannot stand even just a little tick. It drives me nuts. The donut is completely missing on the passenger side over there. So first thing tomorrow, guess what we're gonna fix? We're gonna fix an exhaust leak. The oil pressure, it was about midway the gauge, so it's probably good. And it's done warmed up. Temperature gauge hadn't moved. I grounded out the wire going to the temperature gauge and it pegged over. So that tells me my temperature sending unit is not good. So I'm gonna get one of them tomorrow. I'm gonna get a ferrule for the brake line. I'm gonna get a donut for the exhaust. And I'm sure there's other stuff I've forgotten. Oh, and look at this right here. I got that door open. I had to get a little rough with it, but it finally opened up. You got to push this button a little hard sometimes. See, like that right there. Come on, you aggravating son of a gun. There you go. Anyway, it sticks a little bit, but at least it's opening now. It's about time to go home. The sun is setting over the trees. I believe I'll call it a day, and we'll come back tomorrow and try to finish this thing up. Well, it's the next day. I'm trying to decide if I want to pull that whole manifold off right there or just try to get it loose right there. I've already sprayed it with PB Blaster. It's got one stud broke off in it already. I tell you what, let's try to get it loose down there at the bottom first, and maybe we can get a donut stuck up in there, and maybe 2 bolts will be good enough to seal it up. And I noticed this exhaust manifold over here, it's got a crack right in this area here. Ain't nothing I can do about that, but let's work on this side here. Well, I just tried to catch the whole farm on fire, so that's good. I guess the sucker backfired, I don't know. But we had a little small forest fire going on right here. All this little mouse's nest was trying to burn. Well, let me show you what I got going on right now. The bolts broke off down below. And I was gonna try to take the whole exhaust manifold off, and no, that ain't happening. Them bolts are like welded on, and I don't want to get too rough with them and break the bolts off, and then I'll have to pull the head off. I ain't gonna do that. So may just have to have an exhaust leak for now. But I got something else going on now. It don't want to run at all. Not unless I hold my hand over here and then let go, and then put my hand over and let go. It's almost like the fuel pump's quit working. I'm gonna take this line loose, see if we're pumping anything, and well, I'll just go from there. Well, I pulled the fuel line off the carburetor. It was pumping, but well, y'all saw it yesterday, you know, it was just a geyser. Well, it's just pumping a little bit this morning. Wasn't satisfied with that, so I pulled the top off the carburetor, and well, she's bone dry down in there. So we got a fuel pump issue. I don't know if it's the actual fuel pump. Maybe the filter is stopped up. I put 3 gallons of gas in the thing yesterday, so I know I ain't running out of gas. So let me do a little more investigating. Well, that didn't take very long to investigate. This is the fuel filter canister. Screws up on the thing. It was wet on the outside right here when I went back there to pull it off. Well, if you look inside of it, y'all probably can't see that, but it's really corroded, where probably the water was standing in the bottom of it and started rusting it. So it's got a small hole somewhere, and I'm sure it was losing prime and couldn't get it back because of that hole. Same thing that was happening to the dude. Remember the hose had a little cut in it? Well, same thing here. What I'm gonna do is take this home and clean it up real good. And I'm gonna coat the whole bottom in JB Weld and let it sit. I gotta run to town and get more parts anyway, so we'll let that sit up and dry, and come back and we'll put it on, and it ought to run. As far as this carburetor, it ain't right. I'm not getting a pump shot at all. I don't know what's going on. I might tell you what I might do. Put the old accelerator pump back in, because it looked fine. And you know, this in here may be too small or something. I don't know. Well, we'll figure it out though. As a precaution, I thought I would go ahead and put a new thermostat in it. Well, I wanted to get it out before I went to town so I can, you know, get the right one. And well, as you can see, I broke a bolt. So that's good. It's actually not the threads. See, it's moving. It's got a real thick housing right here. It's stuck in the housing itself. So I got to pry that up off that bolt some kind of way, and then I'll have to go get another bolt. Well, I had to come back to the basement. This is that thermostat housing. Remember, I broke the bolt head off. Well, I ended up breaking the bolt in the intake too. I've got it out, but I've got to drive this bolt out of this housing. It's stuck pretty good. So I'm gonna have to whoop on it pretty good. So let me get that done, and then I'll clean this fuel filter housing up and get it JB welded up real good. And then I gotta run to town and get some parts. Well, I got the bolt out of the thermostat housing. It popped right out. I thought it was gonna put up a fight. It didn't. I got the fuel filter housing all cleaned up, and you can see all kind of pitting. There's some there. It's just all around it. So I'm gonna take this JB Weld here. This is the quick. It's supposed to set up in 6 minutes, I think is what it says. Anyway, put that on all around this here, and I'm gonna run to town. Hopefully when I get back, this will be set up enough where I can use it, and we'll go back over there and work on that old truck some more. Well, I just got back from the grease store and the filter store and the exhaust store and the temperature sending unit store, and well, I just went to all different kind of stores. I got a bunch of parts, but I'm missing an oil filter. They didn't have one. I had to order it. So I think about the only thing I can do right now is finish the brakes up. But right now, this second, I brought my torch with me, and we're gonna try to fix this exhaust. I'm gonna try my best to get these studs broke loose down here, and if I get that broke loose, we've got it made. So let me get the torch set up, and let's just see if we can fix that. All right, let's hope that I do not catch the truck on fire or the entire farm. A whole lot of grease and oil. I hope I don't catch it on fire. I have to pull it away every once in a while, make sure it ain't actually on fire. All right, let us see if we did any good. Ooh. Oh yeah, look here. That there's loose for sure. Let me go ahead and get it out of the way, and then I'll try to get that other. Aha! There's one of them. All right, one down, one to go. I'm only gonna try to get two. That inside one is just, well, I can't get a torch on it, and Frank almost set the truck on fire because it's just covered in oil and grease. So I can get two of them loose, I'll be happy. Oh yeah, we got that one right there too. Yep. But it's gonna take about 15 minutes to get it out. Whew, I'll be back. Well, here's where I'm at right now. I broke 2 of those studs. I got one out, and then I broke the other 2, and the only way to get them out now is to drill it, and I don't have the room, and to be honest, I just don't want to do it right here anyway. I got the 2 outside bolts on the manifold here, but the 2 middle ones, well, they just keep rounding the heads off, and I'm not real sure what I'm going to do yet. I got to do a little thinking, and I don't know, might knock the heads off the bolts. These bolts are most likely not stuck in the thread, but right here. And when they're stuck there, ooh, it ain't fun getting them out. Well, I'm up under the truck for now. I took a break from the exhaust, mainly because it's too hot out there, and it's a lot cooler under the truck. And I may just lay right here and take me a little nap. I ain't decided yet. Anyway, I want to get this brake line put back together, and we'll put some brake fluid in it, and hopefully we ain't gonna bust no more brake lines. Well, I got the brake line put back together. I got some brake fluid in it, and I pushed the pedal, I don't know, 8 or 10 times. It's got pedal now, which, you know, it's gonna have to be bled, but at least we know the master cylinder's good, and we ain't got no more brake lines busted. I'm waiting on an assistant to get here so I can bleed them. Whilst I wait, I'm gonna put this fuel filter on. There's my, we call that JB welded fuel filter canister housing outside part. Looks pretty good. Got a new fuel filter. Let me go put them on. Well, I'm still waiting on my assistant to bleed the brakes. And whilst I'm waiting on him, I'm doing a little pondering on this exhaust manifold. I've got the 2 outside ones loose on either end. It's these 2 middle ones right here that's got me. And I done rounded the heads off. Like I said, most likely it's stuck here and not on the threads. And it's cracked right here too. I'd like to get it off and change it off. I'm gonna hit it with a torch, and maybe that'll help, you know, loosen some of this stuff up, and we can get them off. I might have to beat a metric socket on them. I've done that before and it works. Might get a 12-point socket, beat it on it, but we got to get that off some kind of way. Well, I've been bouncing around here and there and everywhere. Today's not been a good day. I bled the brake, or attempted to bleed the brakes. Well, 2 hoses are stopped up this side here and the one in the back. Not getting any fluid in the back or over here, so I need to get to change the hoses out now. That's wonderful. We got 1 bolt loose here on the center, drove a 12mm socket on it and got it broke loose. Well, the other one here, it ain't cooperating. Drove a 12mm on it, and it's just rounding it off even worse. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do there yet. The carburetor, remember I said I wasn't getting any pump shot? Well, I'm gonna take this accelerator pump home and compare it to the old one that come out and just see if there's anything different. It will squirt out here if you shove it all the way down. So it's probably an adjustment somewhere. You know, this in here is probably different than the one that come out. So I got to study on that. Losing daylight. I'm going home. Well, it's the next day again. This is the manifold that I'm going to put on the truck if I get that other one off. And our first task for today is to get these nuts off. The threads are a little better than what was on the truck, so I'm hoping they're going to come off. They're 9/16. I've already rounded this one off, so I drove a 13mm on it. Well, let's just see if it'll come loose. Well, as you can see, we didn't do any good there. Just broke it off. I tell you what, I would rather work on an old 50-year-old brake system that's never been touched than to fool with one exhaust bolt because of this right here. They're always going to be seized up. Anyway, I got the torch here. Let's heat it up. I'm going to try to get the studs out. I'll heat it up here and get it just cherry red. Maybe it'll break loose. Nuts coming off with that one. I'll be happy with that. If I get this other nut off, then we're going to run with 2 studs. Well, I thought I would try it and see if that stud came out. Well, it did. It's right here. I'm gonna try these because I'd like to have new studs because you know these things they're gonna be brittle. So let's just see if they will break loose. If they will, then I'll get new studs too. Come on now. It's moving just a little bit. I got the crappiest vice grips ever known to man. They won't hardly grip nothing. Yeah, it's moving all in here. Oh yeah. Let me get these out and then we'll head to the old truck and work on it. Then I got to run to town here a little bit, get the oil filter, and I'll get some studs when I go to town. I was working away down here, looked out the window. Lo and behold, look who's here. Miss Daisy. How you doing, girl? Say hello, everybody. You ain't treated no more cats, have you? She had a cat treed out yonder the other day, just barking away. We'll see you later. Well, here we are back at the old truck again. I brought another 12mm socket, and of course it just spins. Well, I tried to beat on an 11mm, that's too small. Tried to beat on a 7/16, that's too small. Yesterday, I turned it probably a half a turn before the ratchet broke. About the only thing left to do now is take a big old chisel. I brought one, and a big old hammer right there. Just whoop the devil out of it till we break the head off, and then hopefully we can pry this old manifold off. I'll get the bolt out, and then we'll put that other manifold on here, and we'll be just fine. I didn't bring no safety glasses, so I'll just have to do the safety squints on this right here. And let's hope the head of this bolt pops off. All right. Oh, that was my hand. Oh, that hurt. Well, I just broke a big old chunk out of the exhaust manifold, but the head of the bolt still ain't broke off. I believe I'm fixed to be in a mess here now. Well, I just broke the manifold all to pieces, and I'm fine with that because it was junk anyway. I just hope that we didn't break the head because that bolt is gone. Let me see if I can get this manifold off and see if I can get that bolt out. There it is. Broke all to pieces. There it is. Right there. Bolt broke off. I'm gonna try to get it out, but I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time on it. It may just have to run with one bolt. So let me get doing that. Well, actually, I'm gonna run to town because I got to get some bolts for the exhaust. I got to get some bolts for the thermostat housing, and got to get that oil filter that I ordered. So let me get busy. Well, y'all ain't gonna believe me unless I show you. See that hole right there? There ain't no bolt in it anymore. It come out pretty easy. It's about like I thought it was. It was seized onto the manifold, not the hole. Anyway, I'm just very thankful I got it out. I got to run to town and get some parts. Well, I'm back from the filter store, the gasket store, and the bolt store. I got my studs put in this manifold. This manifold, by the way, was in the truck. I don't know if I told y'all that or not. But if I didn't, hey, this manifold, it was in the truck. Apparently, they had plans to change that out. Never got to it. Well, now I'm doing it. Anyway, let's put this on first. Hopefully, everything goes smooth with it. And maybe we can get this truck done today. Maybe. Hope so. All right, I'm going to get this manifold on. I got the good gaskets where it's cut out. See that? So you put this on first with bolts, and then those just slip right on in. Well, that ain't where that bolt goes, you moron. It goes over here. Moron is what I am. Let me get my gaskets on. Pretty doggone easy right there. Alright, I'll hit them with a ratchet. Then I'll get all that stuff down yonder put on. Well, I just took a trip down Dumas Lane. I seem to do that quite a bit. See my studs up there? Well, I'm having to take them back off because of this piece right here. It has to go up in there, but I can't get it on, you know, because this exhaust pipe's in the way. What this is a heat riser valve. Well, this is a spacer. They've deleted the heat riser valve and put this in, you know, so the exhaust system would still bolt up like it should. Well, I got to take those studs back out and put this piece on, and then put the studs back in. Yep, Dumas Lane. That's my favorite lane. As you can see, the exhaust is now done. And whilst I was down here, I went in and put the Earl filter on. There it is right there, canister type. I believe all we got left is thermostat, temperature sending unit. Got to fool the carburetor a little bit, and we may be about done. There's maybe some small stuff I'm forgetting. So as soon as I get done taking a nap whilst I'm down here, we'll finish that up. Well, my camera has lost its mind. I don't know what's happened. It didn't record any of this here, putting the thermostat on and the temperature sending unit, which, I mean, that's, you know, pretty standard, pretty boring, so it don't really matter. But I got that done, and I also put some grease in the transmission. It was a little low. So now we got to work on the carburetor, and I'll tell you all about that when I get up in here and get all my tools. All right, here is what's going on with the carburetor. Remember I said we haven't had a pump shot since I rebuilt it? Well, you got to set this rod length, and you measure from the top of the air horn to the top of this rod. This rod right here is your pump rod. And according to the paper, it needs to be 1 1/8 inches. And you also have to back off your idle screw all the way, and you want your throttle closed. So I've already got that backed off. Let me get this measurement, and basically all you do is bend this rod till you get your measurement right. So let me get this measurement, and we'll see if we can't get that straightened out. All right, all you want to do, make sure your throttle's closed. Get your little measuring thing here, put it across the top of it, go to the top of that rod, and it might be a 1/16 too low. So I will bend this rod until we get this to 1 1/8 inches. That's what it's supposed to be. From the top of the horn to the top of the rod, 1 1/8 inches. Let me bend on that, and then we'll see what we got. All right, I've filled the carburetor up with gasolines, and y'all look down in there. Oh yeah, we got some squirty squirts. I think all I got left is put some Earl in it, fill it up with water. We're gonna fire the whole thing up and see how this exhaust sounds over here. All right, get us some old rotellers in there. This appears to have a regular small block Chevrolet oil pan, but that filter housing, that sucker probably holds 2 quarts. So I'm not real sure how much Earl this thing holds. It may hold 1 quart or 2 more than 5 quarts. All right, what does the dipping stick tell us? It tells us that I need glasses for one thing. It's right in the middle, well, a little bit high of middle, so it's going to put at least 1 quart, I'd say, in that oil filter housing. But I ain't going to put none in it yet. We'll run it a little bit and shut it off and check it. I got 1 more quart I can put in it. Let me get some water in it right now. I don't understand that. The water neck is leaking. Ain't got a clue. Well, I got that leak fixed. What it is this needs 2 gaskets because you got this little block in here. Well, the thermostat didn't come with a gasket, and I only had 1 extra, so I just RTMV'd the other side. Well, that didn't work, so I had to go back home again and search, and I found another gasket. Anyway, we got that leak fixed, and also I forgot this heater hose right down here was really, well, it wasn't a May pop, it was a wheel pop. So I changed that out, and I got it full of water. So the only thing left to do is hit the starter. Let's fire this thing up. All right, fire in the hole. Wait a minute. Just like clockwork, forgot to turn the ignition on. Alrighty, fire in the hole for the 2nd time. Or not. Oh, girl. You know what it is? We may be out of gas because, you know, it hasn't filled this up here yet. Let me help it out. Well, I can't hit the hole. We still ain't getting no gas in the tank. I don't understand it. I ain't got a clue. Let me fill it up again. Well, the fuel pump, or, well, I don't know. I ain't getting no fuel up here. That's all I can tell you. Well, I shine my flashlight in the gas tank. It is bone dry. I put 3 gallons of gas in that thing yesterday, and I ran this maybe 10 minutes. Somebody tell me where that gas went. I don't know. Anyway, I put 2 more quarts of oil in it too. I figured it would hold more than 5 quarts because that great big old filter. And that's got it at the full mark. Also, and oh, by the way, I run the numbers, the casting numbers back there and the stamp numbers over here. It is 327. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the original motor. It's a YW is a suffix on the stamp numbers. That means truck block. 327, 185 horsepower is what they put in here. Now you know. I'm gonna put y'all back on the camera stand and we're gonna fire this thing up, let it warm up, and then I believe it'd be time to take this thing for a drive. Well, let's try it, see what it does. I do have the ignition on this time, I didn't forget it. We got a gusher. Well, I think I know where the gas went. That fuel line right down there, right there where my finger is. It blew a hole. So it probably siphoned all the gas out last night sometime maybe. I don't have any fuel lines, so guess what? Got to go back to the house for the 100th time today. Well, I got the fuel line changed. I'm taking bets on what breaks next. Do I have any takers? Let's see what it fire up. Look at there. As soon as I hit it. This is a cold-natured motor. Oh, will be. You know why it's starting and then quitting? I forgot to turn on the ignition. I'm sending power to that solenoid. Well, when I let off the trigger, it loses power for the ignition. All right, the ignition is on now. It should stay running. I'm gonna let it sit here and warm up, and then after it does, I might adjust on that carburetor a little bit, and maybe, just maybe, if nothing else breaks, we can take this thing for a ride. temperature looks pretty good. Oil pressure looks pretty good. Boy, it's got a pretty good moan when you're sitting inside of it here, but it's still got some carburetor issues. I'm gonna check the timing here in a minute, make sure that's okay, but it's still got a hesitation down low. Whole thing don't sound too bad. Well, I didn't get finished up last night before I run out of daylight, so I'm back again today. Let's do a cold start, just see how it does. Girl's pretty cold natured. It's, you know, probably in the 80s now, and it's got to run with the choke on until it gets warmed up. It did fire right up. I patted the gas 2 or 3 times, fired right up. It sure ain't like that right there. I hit the gas twice on that one, and I'm gone. I ain't got to wait for it to warm up. Anyway, we'll let this warm up, and I'll check the timing on it, see where it's at, and I think we can take it for a drive after that. I ain't tried the hydraulics yet, see if that bed's gonna raise. Y'all watching, let me know. Well, I got the timing set. I got the oil bath air breather full of oil. We know that the lift works now. There ain't one thing left to do. Let's get in this old truck, drive it around the farm a little bit. No brakes, so I got to be careful how fast I go. Dude originally had a 2-barrel Rochester like this, and it had that same hesitation. It's just something about them 2-barrel Rochesters, I guess. I don't really know. Well, the old girl is back in service on the farm with the exception of brakes. Ain't got no brakes. I'm waiting on them hoses. They'll be here. Gonna take about a week. Could have got them at AutoZone, but they were double the price they were on Amazon. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. So it'll be a week or so before the brake hoses are here, and when I get them, I'll put them on. We'll get the brakes working. But I don't have that kind of time to wait and finish the video after I do that, so we're gonna interrupt right here. But the old girl, she runs pretty doggone good now. Well, this wasn't too bad. It had a few small things that were really getting on my nerves. We finally got it all figured out though. Anyway, appreciate y'all watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, hit that like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends. Check out my merch. There'll be a link in the description. And until next time, go do something. Blurp, blurp.